of the orange and blue will try to heat Oil Country up as they welcome in their Sin City rivals. We get you set for the Oilers and the Golden Knights right here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Good evening, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying warm. Hope you're safe on the roads. If you're driving into Rogers Place, Tom Gazzola with you alongside Ben Thomson. Joaquin Gage is our game analyst. Tonight it is the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, of course. GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. You can join the conversation. Text us 780-218-9999. Hop into the nasty chat if you're watching over on YouTube. The Oil 17, 13, and 6. Vegas 16, 7, and 10. And the first of four meetings between these two Pacific Division rivals. Let's welcome in Ben Thomson, and Joaquin Gage is ready to go actually too. Let's see if the boys are good to hop on. Hello, gentlemen. How you guys doing tonight?
Good. I'm good.
I'm good.
Yeah, this is...
Sorry, I was coughing.
I saw that.
No, this should be a good game tonight with Edmonton, Vegas. There's some news with the lineup, and we're going to see a new goalie in the game and all that stuff. It's a lot of storylines heading tonight. Should be a good one.
Yes. We'll dive into that. Gager, thank you for filling in. Cass couldn't do it tonight. I'm sorry. You were supposed to have the evening off and hang out with the family and all that good stuff, but really appreciate you jumping on in a pinch, buddy. Oh,
Boone.
Boone is back.
No, yeah. Boone's happy I'm doing this too, I guess.
Yeah,
so
excellent.
He's fired up. He was up. He made an appearance on Friday and then the studios, so he was a good little boy.
He was great. It's always nice having it's Cooper the Corgi or Boone in there. I love it. Hey, guys, before we dive into this game, Brian Swain sent a pregame stat, which I think is fantastic, ties into this show just very nicely. Swainer texted in and said, this will be the first time the Oilers have had four different goalies start a game in a span of less than 2 weeks since January of 1996. Joaquin, would you like to take a guess at which four goalies started in a 2-week span for the Oilers back in 96?
Well, I would have to say, what month?
January of 1996.
So let's go maybe was it Ranford?
Yep.
Cujo?
Yep.
Myself and Brathwaite?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
That is nuts. Good sign.
Good sign. Well, Skinner, Jari, Pickard, Ingram tonight. So, it's a little bit of Oilers history. This is the first time that's going to happen since, almost 30 years ago.
Wow.
Were you wearing that
Impressive.
jersey that's behind you by any chance?
Probably, Tommy. Yeah, that's the one right there. The number one.
I love it.
Yeah, I couldn't get 31 as of yet, and then with Cujo coming, it was he wore 31. Mm-hmm. So I normally did wear one, but then of course you kind of follow your idols a little bit, and then I switched to 31 my last few years just because it was, Grant Fuhr wore that number and it was cool. So.
Didn't Grant Fuhr also wear one at one point early in his Oilers career?
He might have. I think when he first started, right?
Yeah.
That's back when goalie numbers were pretty standard, right? You had your 1, your 30, your 31, 35, and maybe a 29 in there, right?
Yeah.
I believe and then it got kind of, Hextall was 27, I think, right? And then that was kind of, that's different. I believe Fred Brathwaite wore 40 for a while too. So and then it went just completely nuts. I mean, Mikko Koskinen wearing 19. Like, come on, what are we doing here? If you're wearing 19 as a goaltender, you better finish the season with 10 assists. Okay, there's like a league minimum for assists at that point if you're going to wear a player's number like that.
Stu Skinner wore 74. We've seen, I think it was Gustafsson wore 50, if I'm not mistaken. And Grant Fuhr did wear number 1 early in his time with the Oilers, then switched to 31. I'm looking at images, so it's got to be like 80, 81.
I gotta say, it's always nice. I mean, back then it's a little bit different, but when you see your number in camp somewhat dictated where you were going to start the year, right? So I believe I'd have to look back, but an old training camp kind of rosters. But I want to say I wore 74. Like the little pennies. I don't know if you remember those.
Yeah.
Remember those little pennies that guys would wear? And I think I wore 74 to something. It was in the 70s anyways. And that's when you knew you were going back to junior or straight to the minors, right? That was a straight to the minors number. But I remember when I did get one, and that was like, okay, game on, giddy up. This is much better than one of those high ones.
I do remember the pennies. It was like a very 80s, 90s Oilers training camp thing, maybe even practices too. Now, some teams with the practice uniforms, they'll have the name and number on the back.
Yeah.
Sometimes just have the number, sometimes. And then I know it probably drives the equipment guys crazy to have to do that.
I bet.
And then they try to recoup some cost by selling them at like the locker room sales. So it's kind of neat. So anyway, just a neat stat there. First time in almost 30 years that 4 different goalies have started in a span of 2 weeks for the Edmonton Oilers. And Gager, you were one of those. Benny, you weren't even on this planet at that point.
No. That's about 7 years before I was. So, I guess close to 30 years old now. So, nope. Wasn't alive for that.
A young Tom Gazzola, all of 10 years old, was rooting on one Joaquin Bartholomew Gage and Fred Bartholomew Brathwaite and Cujo and Bill Ranford back then. So, all right, let's go to the inbox really quickly. Let's go to Dash texting in. What's up? Dash says, we all know the Oilers are going to be terrible after the break, so they might as well pile it on tonight against a team like Vegas with 4 points on the line. And Gager and Benny, we're going to see a lot of these Pacific Division games coming up here where it is a 4-point game night after night after night. And this is an opportunity to really push to take over the control and lead of the Pacific Division. It's within grasp. Got Anaheim at 44 points through 36 games, Edmonton at 40 points, Vegas at 42. It's there, is it not, Gager?
Yeah, and it's interesting when you kind of look back at what's transpired throughout this season, Tommy, up to this point. And it's at times it seemed like the Oilers were just wading water and just keeping their heads above it, above sea level for a while. Obviously, the start of the year, lots of games there, but their style of game wasn't, I don't think, adequate enough or consistent enough throughout that whole time. Right now, a little bit easier schedule, and you've seen this team has improved. Like they're playing a much better brand of hockey. That even with the loss to the Minnesota Wild yesterday, I think there still were a lot of really good things that the Edmonton Oilers did in staying in that game, where a bounce or just protecting the puck a little bit more. Excuse me.
We weren't even mad at the Oilers yesterday on the post game. No reason to.
No. It was sure that you can nitpick little things that happen in a game, and you can do that with every game. But those types of mistakes have been happening on the other side, and the Oilers have been taking advantage. I look at just the first goal with Ekholm, which is very uncharacteristic of what we've seen his play. That it's been like over the last month at least. So they're playing a good style. Now it's all hands on deck with some of the guys that are out of the lineup, and of course a new goaltender in net.
And we'll get into that right away here. Benny, some takeaways as we get set for this one from yesterday that you think the Oilers can maybe carry over into tonight, or what do you think? Yeah,
I just think yesterday's game was like Gager was saying, it's a similar brand of hockey they've been playing for the past couple of weeks. It's just the effort you put yesterday was, in my opinion, good enough to win the game. It just didn't happen. And that's just the way it is. Yeah. Minnesota Wild, they're a great hockey team. And they made some big trades, and they're feeling it right now. So you ran into a good team where one bounce goes the other way, and there's a good chance you win that game. I think of the Draisaitl one-timer, and then they go down and make it 4-2. Like that, stuff like that. It's like Drysdale scores that tie game. Now we're talking about maybe overtime or whatever, different story. So to me, it's just keep up with the consistent effort. Show that you're hungry and you want to win this one. Like Dash was saying on the text, they're not great after breaks. So let's see if they can capture some wins again, especially in 4-point swings against these specific teams coming up. So I think if you play a similar game like you did yesterday, then I'd expect probably a better result tonight against Vegas.
Vegas coming off a loss in Calgary last night, 6-3. If anybody caught that one, was watching some of it while enjoying some Christmas shenanigans. Benny, does the question of the night intervene or cross at all with game changers from Joaquin?
I don't believe it does. It's around the lineup. It's around the starting lineup.
Okay. Do you want to throw it out to the listeners and viewers, and then Gage? I want to get Gage's thoughts on it as well. Then we'll dive into game changers.
So it seems like it's being reported that Trent Frederick out of the lineup tonight, which is pretty crazy. Talking about how, a little over 24 hours ago, we were talking about him being on the second line to now being scratched. My question of the day is, do you think this is the right move for Trent Frederick? And if you do think it is, how long are you keeping him in the press box? Is one game enough? That's the question.
Joaquin?
Ooh, I would say it really, you're trying to light the fire with Frederick, I think. Yeah. Right? You're trying to display the carrot, so to speak, so he can, and sometimes it's constructive. It's not always bad. Like, it's like, hey, you know what? Tommy, we go up there and watch a game, and it looks very simple from up there, right? Yeah. You see plays develop. A lot of players, when they go up there, go, oh, okay, in that situation, and maybe I do have more time. Or you see how certain guys play from that vantage point. It just might shift your brain chemistry a little bit into playing a little bit differently, So that could be a portion of it. But let's face it, guys, he hasn't been, I don't think, what the Oilers thought he would be up to this point. And I think they've been very patient with him and trying. And they've reduced ice time to try to get things going. And quite frankly, guys, I thought the last two games have been two of his best of the year so far. So it's interesting. But now, there's young guys, chomping at the heels of some veterans here, which I think is good. They're vying for ice time too. It's all what you can do in the amount of time that you're given. And if I would hesitate to say it's just one and done for him. If I see some other guys earning ice time tonight in that game, I'd be a little bit hesitant to put Frederick right back in just for the sake of it, right? Yeah. Let's use that tool. That's one of the only tools that head coaches have nowadays is ice time, right? So if you're a young guy and I want to stay in the lineup, but you have to do everything possible to stay in that lineup because you know that there's a guy with an 8-year deal that will probably get the benefit of the doubt a lot quicker than you as being a young player to get right back in there.
Trent Frederick, you guys, 36 games played, 2 goals, 1 assist, -9, 27 penalty minutes. He has a game winner that was against New York, his first goal of the season. 37 shots, shooting at 5.4%, averaging 11.25 time on ice. He has won 56% of his faceoffs with 91 hits. The 91 hits is second in the Oilers when it comes to that stat. Only Vasily Podkolzin has more at 111 hits. But like you summed up very nicely, Joaquin, it ain't happening for Trent Frederick. All right, let us know what you think. Trent Frederick out for tonight. I will dive into lineups. We'll wait till the teams hit the ice to give you your lines. But he is going to be a healthy scratch, it looks like. And Jock Roslovic will make his return. That should be a boost as well for the orange and blue. 780-218-9999. Jump into the nasty chat as well. My goodness, the Detroit Lions are really pissing me off, just like Green Bay did last night. All right, let's get into Gage Changers with Joaquin. Gage, brought to you as always by Damon Bunting Real Estate. Damon Bunting, consistent top producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 18 years. He's community driven and understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Please check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Joaquin, I love what you did with Gage Changers tonight. Hover damn it up, number one.
Well, the new goalie hasn't played in the NHL for a while. Let's do our best to give him support, right? Just a little bit extra attention to detail, the details of the game, especially in the defensive zone, right? You want to make sure that you allow your goaltender to make the save and not allow any second chance opportunities. Allow him to maybe get a little bit of comfort, at least see the pucks, right? Mm-hmm. It's going to take a team effort. I think we've seen Connor Ingram's numbers in the American League. They haven't been anything to really write home about up to this point. But this is an opportunity for him to get back into the NHL, to show that what he's capable of. So you can't, maybe the opportunity hasn't come at the right time with him, just where his game is at. But man, you gotta take advantage. I think if Cass was on here, he'd make a reference to Mom's spaghetti, right? And do whatever he can to hopefully take a Vegas team that's undermanned too.
Yep.
And keep things rolling with an Oilers team that looks quite good right now.
Of course, you meant Hoover Dam, not Hover Dam.
Yeah, sorry.
I correct myself there. The tie-in to Vegas. I'll throw this at you. When you have struggled, even in the minors, as you try to get your career back on track, can you just pop into the NHL and figure it out, or how tough is it?
I think you can, Tommy. It's just sometimes you're chasing your tail in the American League, right? You're almost to a point you're trying to do too much. This is, as a goaltender, if I was Connor Ingram or part of the goaltending consulting staff, just in conversations with them, just go play. You know, it's something that you've done thousands of times already, is just have a good game, right? That's all you got to do. It's not like you've never done this before. Right. Don't think about it too much. I wouldn't even look at the lineup, right? It's I would break it down into the most fundamental side of goaltending. Just stop the puck, baby, and go from there.
All right, that was point number one of Gage Changers. Hoover Dam it up. Connor Ingram making his Oilers debut. All right, from one end of the ice to the other, let's go to point number two, breaking hearts.
Well, there's another goalie with not a lot of NHL experience over the last few years too for the Vegas Golden Knights. You get to see Carter Hart tonight. I would try to make it as difficult as possible for him, just with the added pressure. As we know, Carter Hart's as a local kid here. He's probably got a lot of family coming to this game to watch him. I would make sure, just make it just a very, very uncomfortable, difficult night. And what I mean by that is keep playing the same crash the net, make it tough on goalies, take the eyes away when they can, get there for second chance opportunities. Little bumps, little extras behind after the whistle, maybe even a little chatter. Try to get into the mind of the other team's goaltender and take advantage of it.
We'll see if the Oilers can get to Carter Hart. His numbers against Edmonton, I'll get into that in a bit. Not too bad. Nothing to write home about, but he has taken this second chance and looks like he's trying to run with it as best as possible. Benny, did you want to touch on the goalies at all?
Yeah, I mean, back to Ingram. This was the same question I asked about Clattenburg when he came up. Is there a world where Connor Ingram stays as the Oilers' backup over Calvin Picker? And if so, how well does he have to play? Like what's the measures he has to get to beat out Calvin Picker for his job?
Good question. Gager?
Ooh. He would have to be lights out, Benny. Yeah. And this is like top 10 goalies in the NHL type of play where he's taking 5-6 goals away from the other team and being the Oilers' best player. The danger in that is, look, we can say what you want about Calvin Pickard over the start of this season and hasn't been great, but he does give you pretty good backup goaltending and over the past few seasons. And by exposing him to waivers, you might find that he wouldn't slip through as easily as you think. Like if I'm a team and I'm not too confident with my goaltending tandem and knowing that I'm going to get a 30-plus-year-old proven backup, I might take a flyer on Pickard and scoop him up if he does become available, because he has been quite good for the Edmonton Oilers.
Hell of a season last year. I'm sure he hasn't dropped off that much after a great season where he won 20 games last year. So I think it's still there. Oilers haven't been great defensively, especially out of the gate this season. They've cleaned it up a little bit, and I think Pickard's been all right the last few games as well. All right, let's go to point number 3 of Game Changers, as we're calling it Gage Changers today with Joaquin, who's our game analyst. Point number 1 was Hoover Dam It Up. Point number 2 is Breaking Hearts, talking about the goalies in points 1 and 2. And then this one, Joaquin, I grinned when I saw it. Leon, with your skill so bright, won't you score a goal tonight?
Well, I think, we saw the penalty he took like yesterday that put his team in the hole, very undisciplined. But I think it all stems from Leon just not putting the puck in the net. He's struggling right now. This is, I believe it's, 7 games without a goal here? Yeah. So I think that's kind of bleeding into his game. He's got to get back on the score sheet. I think really he has not been dangerous from his spot all season long. And I know he scored a few there, but I think he's missed the net, guys, more than he's actually made the goalie make a save or make a great save on him. So I want to see Leon bulge the twine tonight. Get back into the scoring race. Not that he's out of it, but get closer to that elite pack of like 24, 25 goals where he should be anyway. But I think a little bit more simplistic with his shot choices. He doesn't have to, put it bar down every single time. Sometimes if you just put it in an area where the goalie has to make a save, you'd be surprised how much it does get past them. I remember Curtis Joseph talking to him about the best goal scorers, and we were talking about a few players, but one guy he mentioned that everyone's a little bit familiar with, but Mario Lemieux. He said it was, and although Cooch said I had great games against Mario, like, and shut him down, but every shot he took on me, I had to make a save or it was going in the net, right? He never let me off the hook. I had to, when he shot the puck, I had blocker, glove, kick save, whatever it was. It was going in unless I did something special. So Leon, I know you're listening, but get ready for the game. Don't let goalies off the hook tonight by missing the net. Make them make a save, because even if they do, there's probably something for Hyman to clean up, or Podkolzin, or even Savoy, right? There's been a good net front presence, so don't let them off the hook.
Speaking of Mario Lemieux, Sidney Crosby has just tied Lemieux for the franchise record in points, 1,723. Sounds like PPG Paints Arena in Pittsburgh went absolutely berserk. And Gager, it's funny you mentioned Mario Lemieux and Curtis Joseph. It was against the Leafs when Lemieux came out of retirement and he played his first game and he scored on his first shift. And I think it was like a rebound garbage goal type of thing, but you're just like, oh, of course he scored. And it was on Cujo. We were
playing the Avalanche that night, Tommy, and we were all huddled in the kind of the players' lounge in the visiting area of, I think, of what was the Pepsi Arena back then. And because it was Mario's return. And I think that first one, he kind of passed it and banked off someone. But yeah, it was his first shift and he scored. And I think he assisted on his second shift. And we were just, how is a guy that hasn't played in so long, and he goes and most of those guys had played with Cooge too. It was Salo and myself with Oilers. And we're just like, how is this guy scoring? He's got 2 points already. He had more points than some guys on our team, or tied them.
That's funny. And you guys ended up losing to Colorado that game. I had to look it up on Hockey Reference. So it was Pittsburgh 5-0 over Toronto. And then you guys
4-2?
3-2.
3-2.
Close one.
Okay.
Yeah. Chris Drury, Yanni Nienema, Dan Cleary, Adam Foote, Milan Hajduk had the goals. And Tommy Salo played that game.
Great game. One of the best games I've seen.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's cool. That's a great memory. All right, Gage, just some final thoughts as the Oilers and the Golden Knights meet for the first time this season. They'll play 4 times. Edmonton knocked them out of the playoffs. Is there going to be some motivation from Vegas?
This is we're like you said, Tommy. These there's going to be a lot of these Pacific Division rivalry games popping up.
Yep.
This is where you don't play the schedule, you don't play the scoreboard, but you do in a sense, and you don't want to pass up an opportunity because I do think that you're going to start seeing a little bit more separation from teams, right? We've already seen some of the teams in the Pacific kind of tail off and from the surprise starts that they've had. This is where you really want to make hay. I think just by looking at the strength of the Central Division, as a Pacific Division team, you want to finish in that top 3 at least, right? You want to possibly wait to play one of those monsters, not in the conference finals, and not off the hop. So this is a team that there is a little bit of a rivalry with Vegas. It's a team you just dispatched in 5 games, gentlemanly, as we like to say around EST. So
yes.
And first meeting of the year. So show them what you got. They're without some of their big dogs. A great opportunity. I think the schedule again lines up perfectly for the Edmonton Oilers, where they were probably home and able to watch their game against Calgary last night.
Yep.
As the puck dropped down south from us, right? So they should be rested, should be ready to go. But it's always fun when Vegas is in town.
Vegas winless in its last 2, losing in Calgary last night and dropped a shootout decision to New Jersey a couple of nights ago at the Fortress, a.k.a. T-Mobile Arena. Joaquin, thank you so much. We really appreciate you hopping on in a pinch. Look forward to catching up with you on the postgame show.
Can't wait, boys.
All right, there you go. There's our game analyst, Joaquin Gage, with Gage Changers here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Oilers and Golden Knights, first of 4 meetings like Joaquin was discussing. These 2 teams will link up. I just had it here a bunch of times, a couple times in March, and then once in April. Yeah, December 21st. So that's tonight, March 8th at Vegas, March 26th at Vegas, and April 4th here in Edmonton. Let's hop into the inbox, 780-218-9999. Get to the nasty chat. Come on, Detroit Lions, do something, will you? Man, I'm getting so frustrated watching them in my satellite studio. Let's go to Coach Mike. Coach Mike says, can't believe it took this long to scratch Frederick. Bagels most nights, yes. On pace for 6 points this season. I'm feeling bullish. Oilers win tonight. Coach Mike. Yeah, it might just be a game, Benny. I know that's the question of the night.
Yeah. Unless
things go really well for the Oilers and you're like, don't want to change it going into that game against Calgary. Yeah. And that's possible. You might have to wait a little bit, but I would assume that the plan is just for 1.
My prediction will be, like you were saying, he gets sat out, he comes back, he plays against Calgary, fights Lomberg first shift.
Lomberg got into one last night, too.
Yeah, he fought Korzak. That was a good fight, too. Let him back up, too. He fell right away. But, Calgary gave it to Vegas last night. The score ended up being 6-3, but it was 5-1 heading that third period. Like, they whooped them, which should make Vegas motivated to come in and beat Edmonton tonight. So, I mean, we'll see. But, you gotta like the Oilers' chances with the rest they got over Vegas and with how their play has been going. I like them tonight too with Coach Mike.
The Steelers just missed a field goal, opening the door with just over 2 minutes left to Detroit to get the ball going, put together a nice little sequence, and maybe even pull off the win as we look to win over at Play Alberta. Let's get to a couple more texts, then we'll do the game day odds check, and then we'll go and hear from Chris Knobloch. Eden texting in says, evening, boys. Hudson came in with limited ice time, had an immediate impact. Mangiapane seemed to get the hint, scored last game. Not sure if Frederick did. Eden, that's a good point.
Yep.
That's a good point. That was a really nice goal by Mangiapane. Great redirection. Nice play by Bouchard to delay and then wait for the right moment, sift it through, gets it through. Perfect spot for Andrew Mangiapane to redirect it past Philip Gustafson. And boy, did he ever. That was a great goal scorer's goal, I think. Let's go to Sherwood Park. Luke says, do you think Dusty's looking to dump all those Trevor Lawrence rookie cards?
Maybe.
He might be.
He saved my fantasy this week. Holy, what a dog. Shout out Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, he's been good, man. I think that's his kid's college fund that he went heavy on the Trevor Lawrence stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the game day odds check brought to you by Play Alberta. When you play in Alberta, it stays in Alberta, safe and secure. The revenue generated from Play Alberta is redirected into Alberta's General Revenue Fund, which is used to support programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. You could still use promo codes EST50, $50 deposit for a $50 free bet, EST Casino, $50 deposit for a $50 casino bonus, and then EST Sports, $50 deposit gets you a $50 free bet. Your money line for tonight, Edmonton the favorites, minus 137. Vegas comes in plus 116. Over-under set at 6.5. The over at plus 101. And the under at minus 133. That is your game day odds check brought to you by our good friends and proud partners, Play Alberta. All right, Benny Thomson. Let's hear from head coach Chris Knobloch, who spoke about an hour ago in the Hall of Fame room, I believe, down at Rogers Place.
Just begin with some housekeeping. Is Pickard or Ingram starting for you tonight?
Ingram's starting goalie tonight.
Ingram. Do you have any other lineup changes outside of Roslovic coming in, of course?
Roslovic's coming in, and Lazar's also coming in.
Lazar's also coming in. Okay. When it comes to Hudson, because I know you guys just tempted down, a quick word on him before we talk. What did you see from him? What were some of the positives that you liked from his game that you hope he can take down to the AHL?
I thought he was very composed with the puck, and I think he's coming a long way from his first NHL training camp. Coming in the first NHL training camp, there's obviously nerves, and you're not really familiar, and you're not sure about the game, and he's obviously gone down to Bakersfield and played really well, scoring a lot of goals, putting up points, a lot on the power play, a lot 5-on-5, and he was able to come here and translate those skills. Not only was he rewarded with a goal going to the net, but I saw some other things with his offensive play, just creating stuff. So he's a lot faster than I remembered him from training camp. He's feeling just more confident, skating a lot better. I'm certain that we'll see him down the road at some point.
And on the return of Roslovic, is it quite surprising that he, Hyman, Nugent-Hopkins, McDavid, Draisaitl, all the important key components of your offense are finally in the same lineup on December 21st? It took that long?
Yeah. It's surprisingly it's taken that long. Obviously, we knew Hyman would be missing the first part of the season with his surgery in the summertime. But having everybody now, Roslovic was playing so well before his injury, and I'm certain it's going to be a little bit of a transition period. He's not going to find his game immediately, and I hope I'm wrong on that. But just having him back in the lineup will be nice. He's provided us so much so far that since he's been with us, and a lot of it has been his the scoring is something that we desperately needed, is some secondary scoring.
Hi there, Chris. A couple questions on the goaltending. Any updates on Tristan Jarry at this point?
Nothing too specific. He's going to be out for a couple weeks. We won't see him until the new year at some point. That's it.
And in regards to Connor Ingram starting, how important is it for this team to get off to a good start, give him a chance to settle in, be that this is his first game in the NHL this season?
Yeah, well, anytime you have a new player, especially your starting goaltender, you want to allow him to be comfortable, and nothing better than making him feel comfortable is playing a good defensive game, not giving up odd man chances, keeping everything out on the perimeter as much as possible. And hopefully we can get an early lead just to settle those nerves. But he has played a lot of NHL games. He hasn't played for a while. not since last year. And but we feel it's somebody that's shown that he's a very good quality NHL goaltender that adds to our depth.
Regula skated the pregame warm-up in Minnesota. Is he not ready to play yet?
He's playing tonight.
So he's in.
Sorry, that was one other guy that missed. Yes, he is playing. Regula's playing. Stillman will come out.
Stillman will come. And if Lazar's in, you have to pull another forward out, do you not? If Hudson is out and Roslovic's in, do you not? If Lazar is playing, does another forward come out?
Trent Frederick's coming out.
Okay. What do you want to see in Trent Frederick that you haven't seen, apart from the fact he's only got 2 goals and 3 points?
Just a little more consistency. I think he's played some good games, just not enough of them. I think the biggest thing for Trent is, feeling where you can contribute, where you can play your best with any player, whether you're a big physical player or even a skilled smaller guy. Nothing happens unless you're moving your feet and being fast. And Trent is not a bad skater. Like, he can move around, but I think there's a lot of I think it's paralysis by analysis, unfortunately, where I think he's, obviously the confidence not there. When the confidence isn't there, you overthink things. Things happen slowly, and then it just takes away from your game. And that's up to Trent and also the coaching staff, and finding him a situation or a role that he can play where he can just play freely and just play on instincts. Because right now, unfortunately, he's not playing like that. I have a lot of confidence in Trent. I think he's going to be a great player. But right now, joining a new team, he was with us last year, but he was obviously injured for all of that time, that he wasn't able to really play his game. And now this year he has been healthy, but just hasn't been able to play at his best.
And Clattenburg, after getting the stick and cut over his eye, did something worsen? Obviously it did. He's now on long-term injury. What happened there? Because at the time you thought he'd be out a week or so.
It's just the fact that he's missed that amount of time, and the amount of players that we have with our roster right now.
All right, that was Chris Knobloch, the audio cutting out at the end, but we heard quite a bit there from the head coach. Look at this. Look at this drive that the Lions have going here. Jared Goff looking to win the game. I'm very happy and excited. Some interesting information there. Paralysis by analysis when it comes to Trent Frederick. Obviously, maybe overthinking things, and an opportunity tonight to sit up top and watch his team go to work, and maybe that helps him when he does return to the lineup. A lot of people have been clamoring for this, and it finally happens. So we'll see how Jack Roslovic looks tonight. And then with Trent Frederick, I'm glad that he addressed it, to be honest with you. So
he wasn't going to. He didn't mention Frederick was coming out until I think it was Matheson that asked, so Lazar's coming in, Roslovic's coming in, Hudson's not in the lineup, one forward has to go.
Yeah.
And he was, Frederick's coming out too. I was thinking about this, how many guys in NHL history have been a healthy scratch in the first year of an 8-year deal? It's got to be a low number.
I mean, do you remember Jeff Finger?
No.
He got a 3-year deal with the Maple Leafs, and he was playing in the minors by the end of the season. They signed him. I think he was with the Avs prior to that. And Cliff Fletcher, I believe at the time, was the GM of the Leafs. And when they were describing, when Cliff Fletcher was talking about Jeff Finger, the description sounded like a different player altogether. And that's it's different, but it's one I think of. And Jeff Finger ended up sitting and playing in the minors for the rest of his contract. But it's a different scenario, like I mentioned.
Yeah.
Benny, probably not a lot of guys, not, that get 8-year contracts and get healthy scratch because of poor play. He might be the first, just off the top of my head. So it's interesting. Maybe it helps him. Norman at Combine text again says, "Let's go Oilers. Have a great night, gentlemen." Thank you, Norm. You as well, my friend. And Shane Zylstra made a big play for the Lions brother of former Eskimo Brandon Zylstra. So that was nice to see. And then they're marching right now on this drive. Big play by, is that Amon-Ra St. Brown? Yep, great play. Taking it down to the red zone. Oh, baby, keeping that EST partner parlay in play. Okay, let's get to your starting lineups for tonight. For the Edmonton Oilers, you're going to see McDavid with Nugent Hopkins and Hyman. Draisaitl between Podkolzin and Roslovic. Adam Henrique with Mangiapane and Savoy. Curtis Lazar back in action. He will have Max Jones and Matthias Janmark on his flanks. On defense, Ekholm with Bouchard. Nurse with Regula, who's good to go. Stasny with Emerson. In goal, you're going to see Connor Ingram. I'll get into those stats for the goalies right away. And I'm just looking for Vegas Golden Knights lines. Do you see them by any chance?
I've not found them yet. No.
No? Okay. Now, they did play in Calgary last night. I do have yesterday's lineup for the Golden Knights. And I do know that Jesse Granger is partying with Ken Belke, who both cover the Golden Knights. I tried to get Ken on the show, and he was having a football watch party at his place. So I was like, okay, you guys are both off the hook. He's like, don't ask Granger. He's at my place. I'm like, okay, all good. And the Lions just scored a touchdown.
There you go,
baby. Here we go, baby. All right. I'm very excited about that. Okay. I'm just going to give you the lines that they ran with yesterday, unless they're not updated. Maybe they are with the Vegas Golden Knights. Last night it was Hurdle between Marner and Dorofeev, Barbashev with Saad and Braden Bowman, Brett Howden between Riley Smith and Mark Stone, Colton Sissons was with Cole Reinhardt and Keegan Colasar. On defense, you had Hannafin paired up with Whitecloud, Braden McNabb with Caden Korzak, and then Ben Hutton was with Jeremy Lauzon. If we see something different, we will pass that along to you. Let's see if Lawless has the lines.
I'm seeing, I looked on Daily Faceoff because they do the updated stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I missed your line. Marner with Hurdle and Dorofeev, or was that different?
Yes, that's what I had.
Yeah, so it looks like they're the same.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to your starting goalies for tonight. For the Edmonton Oilers, you will see the debut of Connor Ingram, the 28-year-old, 39, 44, and 15 all-time in the National Hockey League, obviously making his season debut and Oilers debut tonight. He has a .314 goals against average and .902 save percentage and 7 shutouts in 102 games over the course of his NHL career. He is 1-1-1 lifetime against Vegas with a .312 GAA, .907 save percentage, and 1 shutout in 3 games against Vegas. And then at the other end of the rink, they took it back. Oh, brutal. At the other end of the rink, it is the local product, Carter Hart, the 27-year-old, 3-0-2 so far this year, .226 GAA, .917 save percentage in 5 games. Hart versus the Oilers' lifetime 4-4 record, 3.01 GAA, .906 save percentage in those 8 games versus the Oil. Let's go to the Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy injury report. Connor McDavid's got a team of specialists. You've got a bag of frozen peas. Get the same locker room approach trusted by the best in the game at Advantage Sport Medicine. Book your assessment today, www.advantagesportmed.ca, or call 780-460-9977. For the Oilers, Jake Wallman, LTIR, lower body. Noah Philp, LTIR, upper body. Kasperi Kapanen, LTIR, knee. Connor Clattenburg has been moved to LTIR with that eye cut that he had, or just over his eye. The Oilers also making some roster moves. They did send Quinn Hudson down to Bakersfield. Jack Roslovic has been activated, and they did place Connor Clattenburg on LTIR. Come on, Jared Goff. My goodness. 3rd and goal with 11 seconds left.
Screwed it up.
Make it happen.
Well,
he just fired one. He fired one right through the end zone. For the Vegas Golden Knights, Jack Eichel, day-to-day lower body. Shea Theodore, upper body. William Karlsson, IR, lower body. Aiden Hill, IR, lower body. And then, of course, Alex Pietrangelo, basically done for the year. People are wondering if he's done for his career. IR, hip. There you go. That is your Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy injury report. Let's see what Goff's going to do here. He's got it. Oh, no. No, he dropped it. He dropped it, Benny Thompson.
No.
Very, very frustrating. Very,
Want to
very
know a good
frustrating.
sign though?
Tell me.
You said Sid tied Mario.
Yeah,
He's past him now.
of course.
There he is.
Of course. Ingram, really quickly, just as a refresher, 11 games played so far down in Bakersfield. He's got a 4-5-2 record, 404 goals against average, 856 save percentage. Talking to Ryan Holt, play-by-play man for the Condors, he said he is all of that 856. It's not smoke and mirrors. It's been a tough go so far for Ingram. Goff, he's got the first down. Oh, baby. And penalties on the play. What the heck just happened?
What's the score?
That was weird. No time left on the clock. Flags down. They got a lateral to Goff, and he just ran it into the end zone after he made he threw the ball to the receiver. That was weird. That looked like a CFL ending, man. That is crazy.
Wow.
Oh, Norman Combine says, "Say it, coward. Texans win." Ha ha. Yes, Norm. Yes. Very good. All right, Benny, some final thoughts from you. We have a few minutes before we wind things down, but what are you looking forward to tonight?
Yeah, obviously a couple different things. The Oilers' depth scoring has been a topic of discussion, and I know Mangiapane scored last game. Before that was Quinn Hudson. But now that you have Jack Roslovic back, this is pretty much the healthiest your forward core is going to be. You have your big guys there now, and I don't think we expected Roslovic to have the impact he's had so far this year, but here we are, and he's probably been their third best goal scorer this year, and we'll see when Hyman's getting going already. But Roslovic's a top six winger for them, and he's slotting in there with Draisaitl, reunited that line. That brings Savoy down. If Mangiapane's playing better, works with Savoy, I would hope that depth scoring kind of turns around and continues to progress. And with the Trent Frederick, throwing the press box, I mean, if he keeps falling down that depth chart, they have Max Jones in over him tonight.
I know.
And that, to me, is a perfect example of Max Jones knows his role, knows what he's doing. He's going out there to play 6 minutes a night, go hit a guy, go grind the corners, go work for a puck. That's all you got to do. And with Frederick, it's not like he can't do that. Like, he has the same type of build, speed, sense, everything, if anything, better than Max Jones. And there's a reason why I think he's in the lineup tonight instead of Frederick. And, he needs a wake-up call. So I'm happy to see that go down today. And then, so I mean, Connor Ingram versus Carter Hart should be a good one. I don't want to hang too much pressure on Connor Ingram, but it's a big game for him. We'll see. We'll see if he answers and plays well for them tonight. I guess we'll see how it all finishes.
All right, let's get these updated lines for you here. A couple of tweaks for the Golden Knights. Nothing major, though. Marner between Barbashev and Stone. Hurdle with Saad and Dorofeev. Howden with Smith and Bowman. Sissons between Reinhart and Kolasar. On defense, McNabb with Korzak. Hannafin with Hutton. Lazon with Whitecloud, of course. You've got Carter Hart in goal. And then for the Oilers, it is McDavid between Nugent Hopkins and Hyman. Draisaitl with Podkolzin and Roslovic. Henrique with Mangiapane as Savoy. Lazar centering Max Jones, who Benny was just talking about, and Matthias Janmark. Trent Frederick, a healthy scratch. Jack Roslovic back up. Quinn Hudson sent down to Bakersfield. On defense, Ekholm with Bouchard. Nurse with Regula. Regula coming back in to the lineup. And then Stasny with Emerson. Connor Ingram starts in goal, making his Oilers debut. This play was weird. So the game's over. It was offensive pass interference in the end zone. Amon-Ra St. Brown makes the reception, laterals it to Jared Goff, and he runs it into the end zone for a touchdown. Waved off. Steelers win. What a weird finish.
Whoa.
Yeah, a clear push-off by St. Brown.
Okay.
Clear push-off, yeah. And, that's the game. So, my goodness, that's frustrating. Weird, though. Weird. Benny, Benny, a lot of people complimenting you on your ugly Christmas sweater. Looks like it's Scream-inspired.
Ghostface. It's
Ghostface.
I have a Christmas party to go to later today. So I'm bolting straight there after the post-game show as to why I have my hat on and all that stuff. But yeah, it's get in the festive spirit. Christmas coming up right around the corner. I'm excited. it'll be a nice break for not only us, but the Oilers as well. They probably need one here in this schedule, but feeling festive today.
Very festive. Good times all around. People having fun. Be safe out there. Mix in water and stay warm. It is cold as you know what. My goodness. That is rough. All right, some stats to throw at you before we wind things down. Here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream postgame show. Oh, my God. They're mad in Detroit. Very upset with how that game ended. The Golden Knights and Oilers, first of 4 meetings this season. Edmonton 8-3-3 at home. The Golden Knights 9-3-5 on the road. And Edmonton all-time versus Vegas, a 15-9-2 record, of course, in the regular season. All-time at home against Vegas, 8-3-2, pretty darn good. The Oilers have won 3 of the last 4 games at home against the Golden Knights, and then have won the last 2 in a row against Vegas. 6-3-1 is the Oilers' record against the Golden Knights in their last 10 meetings. And then the Oil versus the Pacific Division, just a 3-1-2 record. Not a lot of Pacific Division games so far this season. Vegas sits at 4-1-4. Oilers on the power play, first in the National Hockey League, 32.3%. Penalty kill dropped to 22nd at 78.4%. Meanwhile, Vegas is 6th in the National Hockey League on the power play at 25.2%. PK pretty darn good at 7th overall, 82.9%. So there you go, some stats. And then that one that Brian Swain sent in, which is great. It involves Joaquin Gage, who's our game analyst for today. This is going to be the first time the Oilers have had 4 different goalies start a game in a span of less than 2 weeks since January of 1996. Curtis Joseph, Bill Ranford, Fred Brathwaite, and our very own Joaquin Gage did it almost 30 years ago. And this will be Connor Ingram's first start as an Oiler. And Calvin Pickard started yesterday. And Tristan Jarry started a couple games ago. And Stu Skinner started last week prior to the trade on Friday to Pittsburgh. Oh, by the way, speaking of the Pens, Sidney Crosby is now the all-time leader in points for those Pittsburgh Penguins. Okay, that's going to do it for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. A big thank you to everybody who watched, everybody who listened. We appreciate you very much. Enjoy the Oilers and Golden Knights. We will see you on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream postgame show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Join myself, Joaquin, and Benny Thomson. That's going to do it. Ciao for now. Stay warm, everybody. See you in a couple hours.